Sri Lanka's most powerful news brand.
A very good evening and welcome. This is Lunchtime News coming to you live from the Echelon Square where the Newsfirst Christmas Zone is located. We are coming to you live from the Newsfirst Christmas Center located here at the Echelon Square. Of course, we will be here throughout the month to give you a novel experience. Before we get into the Christmas spirit, let's take a look at your headlines for this afternoon.
Train strike continues. Discussions between trade unions and presidential secretary ongoing. IMF Executive Board completes third review of EFF. $251.4 million to be issued. Farmlands in Anuradhapura at risk due to lack of fertilizer.
Well, on to the stories in detail now. Discussions are currently underway between railway trade unions engaged in a strike action and the presidential secretary at the presidential secretariat.
Secretary to the Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation S. Vidhanage, as well as Railways General Manager S. M. Abhay Vikrama are also present at the meeting. Several more trade unions have joined the strike action launched by the locomotive operators as of this morning. The strike action was launched by the Locomotive Operators Union on the 6th, citing irregularities in the recruitment of driver assistants. A discussion was held between the railway trade unions and the Secretary to the Ministry of Transport yesterday. However, the talks proved to be unsuccessful. As a result, a number of trains did not operate this morning as well. According to the Railway Control Room, around 10 train turns were operating this morning. The Railways Department has also taken steps to supply SLTB buses for individuals who had purchased tickets to travel to Kandy and Jaffna.
Now, farmers that have been plagued for many years by the human-elephant conflict are now faced with a new crisis, that is the lack of fertilizer. Farmers in Anuradhapura point out that their cultivations for the Maha season are at risk due to the lack of fertilizer.
Farmers cultivating chili, corn, capsicum, ladies' fingers, brinjals and beans in Anuradhapura have been affected. The farmers point out that there is a scarcity in the market of a fertilizer containing potassium red powder known as Surya MOP and TSP. The scarcity of this commonly used fertilizer has also affected paddy, fruit and vegetable cultivators. The farmers also cautioned a food scarcity in the country is likely if the lack of fertilizer persists. When we inquired on the matter from the Plantation Ministry, they said steps have been taken to relax the regulations on importing fertilizer to facilitate the demand in the market. The ministry added that the time period taken to procure the import of fertilizers will also be reduced. The Ministry of Plantations have received cabinet approval for the move.
In some good financial news, the Executive Board of the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, has completed the third review of Sri Lanka's economic performance under the extended fund facility arrangement.
Completion of the review enables the disbursement of about $251.4 million, bringing total disbursement under the arrangement to about $759.9 million. Sri Lanka's 3-year extended arrangement was approved on the 3rd of June 2016 in the amount of $1.4 billion. The IMF notes that the government's reform program supported by the IMF aims to reduce the fiscal deficit, rebuild foreign exchange reserves and introduce a simpler, more equitable tax system to restore macroeconomic stability and promote inclusive growth. Mitsuhiro Furusawa, acting chair and deputy managing director, had stated following the disbursement that, quote, Sri Lanka's performance under the fund-supported program has remained broadly on track since the second review. Macroeconomic and financial conditions have been stable despite a series of weather-related supply shocks. The authorities remain committed to the economic reforms under the program and have undertaken measures to improve government revenue and accumulate international reserves. Going forward, it is important to build on the progress made and accelerate reforms to further reduce fiscal and external vulnerabilities, unquote.
On to no business news now. The first EU GSP Plus business guide for Sri Lankan exporters has now been published online.
The manual has been produced by Geneva's International Trade Centre in collaboration with the Sri Lankan government and is funded by the EU. It is a comprehensive overview of relevant information for exporters in the various sectors. The guide does not constitute legal advice and does not provide exhaustive information on all sectors. However, it provides a basic step-by-step guide for exports.
The water project constructed at the Alubomulla Mahabellana Primary School as part of the Gammadda initiative was vested in the public today.
Project was declared open by Newsfirst Director of Administration Kitsiri Dayananda. Also present from MAS Bodyline Supply Chain, Deputy General Manager Ms. Umanga Thammanna Goda. The project was sponsored by MAS Bodyline Private Limited, Heart to Heart.
Addressing a public rally held in the Polonnaruwa area yesterday, JVP parliamentarian Sunil Hanunetti shared these views.
True, it was this government that set up a bond commission. The Prime Minister did go before the commission. But the thing is, Prime Ministers in other countries have never facilitated daylight robberies nor taken action to protect the perpetrators. So Prime Ministers in other countries don't have to go before such commissions. In other countries, if they have to attend such hearing, they resign from their post because they are ashamed by it. What happens if you are not ashamed of doing wrong in this? It is more frightful that when you have no fear. UNP has always thought Ranil Wickremesinghe would never steal. They called him Mr. Clean. There are no more Mr. Cleans in politics. Everything is being revealed.
The Presidential Commission of Inquiry into Bond Issuances was discussed yesterday during a media briefing convened by the United National Freedom Front.
On some occasions, the Commission has acted differently. They asked the tough questions from Ravi Karunanayake but failed to cross-question the Prime Minister. The people of this country are eagerly awaiting the report of the Presidential Commission. They expect that cases will be filed against those responsible and that steps will be taken to recover the money that was lost through the process. As the United National Freedom Front, we need to reiterate this.
Well, as I said at the top of the bulletin, we are coming to you live from the Newsfirst Christmas Centre located at the Echelon Square here in Colombo. This is a very special live broadcast coming to you from the Newsfirst Christmas Centre located at the Echelon Square. Well, we will be here throughout the month. We will be here until the 29th of this month, and we have a range of activities planned. So if you are in the vicinity, come down to this area and meet us, talk to us, see how our operations are being done, as the Yes FM and Newsfirst teams are here to be broadcasting live from the Newsfirst Christmas zone located here at the Echelon Square. We will be having carol services as the weekend progresses, and we will be having a range of other events. If you want to, if you fancy yourself a newsreader, you can come down here and get yourself a screen test done to see what we do every day. Unfortunately, that's the lunchtime news for today. I'm Rameshwar Bandara for the Newsfirst team. Good afternoon.